Hello, welcome back. So, last class we have discussed regarding series LCRs resonance circuits and their specific parameters like what is bandwidth, what exactly acceptor circuit is, then what happens to their sharpness, Q, quality factor, everything, right? So, in this lecture, we are going to study about a parallel resonant circuit. Parallel resonant circuit. So as shown in the figure, you can observe here that a capacitor and inductor are connected in a parallel. Here we are not going to use a resistance because in this case we are going to consider R is very small. So resistance is almost it is nearly equal to 0, that is nothing but it is a very small. So that's why we are going to neglect that resistance here. So if we can observe here in this circuit, this capacitor and inductor both are in parallel, and for these two, EMF is applied parallelly. Right now, this EMF I have given that one as E is equal to E naught e power j omega t. As these two capacitor and inductor are in parallel, that EMF applied at this point is same as the source EMF, and it will be distributed, and that the EMF will be distributed equally in case of both inductor and capacitor, because in case of parallel circuits EMF will be same, or drop across the inductor and capacitance components are same. So as here the inductor value is L and capacitor value is C, as we know that the current in case of inductors, or current through the inductance always lags behind the applied EMF by an angle of, or by a phase of, that is pi by 2 or 90 degree. This one we have studied in the previous lectures only. So this happens only in case of inductor. It happens only in case of inductor, right? Then as we got that current lags behind the applied EMF in case of inductor. So if you study the current which is flowing in this inductor coil, then we'll come to know about how that current lags behind the EMF in case of this particular inductor. Now, as we have we have an information that the EMF induced in this, or EMF drop or voltage drop across this inductor is same as the applied EMF. As we already know about the resistance of this inductor also, or reactance of this inductor, that is given by XL is equal to J of omega L. We have already defined this same thing in case of series LCR circuit only using J operator. Now if you calculate the current across this inductor, that is given by IL is equal to EMF divided by XL. This is the reactance of a inductor. Now if you substitute these two values in case of this, IL is equal to EMF is given by EMF naught e power j of omega t, right, divided by XL. If you substitute, that we have already defined j of omega L. Now will be remained with these terms. So if I will take this j, that 1 by j I will take above, that becomes 1 by j is equal to, that is minus j, as we already know by using the Argand diagram and complex numbers concepts. Okay, so that it becomes minus j into EMF naught e power j of omega t divided by omega L. Right, now I will keep these constant terms as it is. Okay, as EMF naught divided by omega L into exponential of j of omega t, then this is multiplied with minus j. According to the complex concept, complex number concept, we know that 1 by j is equal to, that is minus j. We can write this one as, in terms of exponential form, as e power minus j of pi by 2, because we already know that e power j theta can be written as cos theta plus j sin theta, right? Similarly, if I substitute this e power minus j pi by 2, then I will get cos of pi by 2 minus j of sin pi by 2. Then I will be remained only with, as this cos pi by 2 becomes 0, I will be remained only with minus j, that is nothing but e power minus j of pi by 2. Now if I substitute this minus j value here, this is already equal to IL, then IL is equal to, that is EMF naught divided by omega L into exponential of j of omega t into that minus j term, if I read as exponential e power minus j of pi by 2, then this IL becomes, IL is equal to EMF naught divided by omega L into j common, that is omega t minus pi by 2, right? So if you see this equation, that the EMF, we have EMF as here I will write EMF as EMF naught e power j of omega t. Then if you compare these two, IL and this EMF, applied EMF, you can see here that current is lagging behind by pi by 2 angle, lagging behind by angle of pi by 2. So I'll keep this equation as a 1. Okay, IL equation, as we have already stated that current lags by an angle of pi by 2 in this inductor case. Now we'll look at the case in case of a capacitor. In case of capacitor, we already know about for capacitors or capacitance, we already know about the current through the capacitor. The current through this capacitor C always leads the EMF, or applied EMF by an angle of, or by a phase of pi by 2 again. So if you calculate the same current across this capacitor as in case of the inductor, so IC is equal to EMF divided by XC, as we know that XC is equal to 1 by j of omega c. If you substitute this XC and the EMF values here, IC I will get as EMF naught, or peak EMF e power j of omega t divided by, that becomes 1 by of j of omega c. Now this whole term becomes IC is equal to j of omega c into EMF into exponential of j of omega t. I will keep this omega c into EMF naught as it is. I will write here e power j of omega t into j. Similarly, as we have defined the minus j is equal to that we have defined e power minus j, I defined as e power minus j pi by 2. Now similarly, j can be written as e power j of pi by 2. So if I substitute this j here, I will get omega c into EMF into exponential of j of omega t into exponential of j of pi by 2. Now if I substitute full value here, I will get omega c into EMF into exponential of j of omega t plus pi by 2. Then if you compare the same IC with the given EMF is equal to EMF naught e power j of omega t, you can see here this whole term is, our current term is leading by an angle of 90 degree. Therefore, the circuit in two branches differ in the phase by pi degree. So as in case of an inductor, or first I will consider here a capacitor. Capacitor, current is leading, I leads the EMF by an angle of pi by 2. In case of inductor, I lags the EMF by an angle of pi by 2. Now the overall phase difference between the currents of a capacitor and inductor is now equal to pi degree, because here it is leading, here it is lagging by an angle of pi by 2. So the overall phase difference in two branches is given by pi. Therefore, I'll write a sentence here. The current in the two branches differ by a phase differ in phase an angle of pi, right? The total current IT will be it's a vector sum of now the total current flowing in this total circuit is equal to, that is I'll write here this one as IT, total current IT is equal to, it's a vector sum of IL plus IC, because if you look at the circuit above, if you look at the circuit here, see the current which is flowing here IT, that is total current, is now equal to the sum of IC plus IL, because IC and IL will add up to and result to the total current flowing in that parallel circuit. Now if I write total current IT is equal to, if I substitute both the current IL and IC I have calculated here, I forgot to mention this equation as a 2. So this equation, I'll call this equation as a second equation. Then by adding 1 and 2 equations, I will get this one as EMF divided by J of omega L e power J of omega t plus EMF naught into J of omega c into e power J of omega t. So this is what exactly we get. So if I write J terms separately here, so it becomes EMF naught into, or EMF, I will take EMF outside here. So EMF and common terms I will take outside. So EMF naught e power J of omega t, if I take common, then I will be remained with 1 divided by J of omega L and plus J of omega c here. Right. So I will call this equation, and third equation I will take this equation for further calculation of impedance or admittance. So this is what the total current expression. Now if you look at the phase relation between applied voltage and the current in a complex plane, we will get as below. This is what the phasor diagram for the voltage and current relations. Okay, now so I'll call this one as a EMF axis, and this one is current across inductor, and here current across capacitor, because the current in the capacitor always leads by the angle of 90 degree with, that is EMF. So if you compare with EMF, it makes 90 degree advance, that is a leading. Right. Then if you look at this IL always lags by an angle of 90 degree. Right. So that's why, and this is the this is what the angular velocity or the angle made by EMF with respect to original axis or reference axis, that is omega t. Right. So here completely it is 90 degree. Here it is 90 degree phase difference. Now you can see that the total phase difference between IC and IL is nothing but now it is pi degree, that is 180 degree, as we have defined in the above case. Right. Now we need to calculate impedance of this parallel circuit. So impedance of parallel circuit is given by, or that is nothing but a total impedance or resistance we can call. So the total impedance that is ZT. That is ZT. As these two components in this circuit, these two components are inductive component and capacitor component, both are in parallel. That's why the total impedance is given by 1 by ZT is equal to 1 by ZL plus 1 by ZC. That is nothing but this is ZL means that is impedance of a inductor, and ZC is nothing but impedance of the capacitor. Now if you look at this one, we get that one as 1 by ZT is equal to, then ZL plus ZC divided by ZL into ZC. Right? Now, if you calculate the total impedance, that is called ZT is equal to ZL ZC divided by ZL plus ZC. Right? So this is what the total impedance of this parallel LCR circuit. Okay. Now, if you substitute that ZL is nothing but XL, here ZL is nothing but XL, that is equal to J of omega L, and ZC is nothing but XC, that is reactance or impedance, both are same. So that is 1 by of J omega C. If you substitute these ZL and ZC in ZT, then we get ZT is equal to, that is J of omega L ZL into, that is 1 by J of omega C, that is ZC, whole divided by, that is J into, that is omega L minus 1 by omega C. So this is what the total impedance. Now here Z omega and J omega get cancels here, then will be remained with only J L by C, then here J is remaining. Now this ZT becomes L by C whole divided by J of omega L minus 1 by omega C. Right? Now if I take L by C in the denominator term, if I take L by C in the denominator term as a common term, then I get a ZT is equal to L by C whole divided by J into, if I take L by C here, now here omega is equal to omega into C minus 1 by omega L. Now this denominator term whole, it changes as I have taken here C, you can look at here. So if I take L by C common term in this total, so that is omega L minus 1 by omega C, this is the denominator term. If I take omega L, L by C term common, so now in this L by C, if I take L by C, now I need to multiply this whole term omega into C divided by L into L. Already L is there. If I take L by C, I need to multiply C by L in this case, and 1 divided by omega is there, so C is already there. As I have taken L by C outside here, I need to multiply C by L here. Now C get cancels, L get cancels, I will be remained with only omega C minus 1 by omega L. So that I am substituting when I take L by C common. So this is the term what I have taken, right? So I will all these things. Now, so if you go for next calculation of this one, then here L by C get cancels both the sides here, denominator numerator terms. I will be remained with only ZT is equal to 1 divided by J into omega C minus 1 by omega L. Right? So this is what the term we have got finally. Now, if you multiply J inside here, it becomes ZT is equal to 1 divided by, that becomes omega C into J minus, that is if I take that one as below here, it becomes minus of minus plus 1 by J omega L. So this is what the total impedance of the circuit. Now if you see this equation, or if you compare this equation with the current equation, that is IT is equal to that is EMF naught J e power J omega t into, that is 1 by J omega L plus J omega C. Now if you by seeing these two equations, I can write that that is ZT is equal to E naught e power J of omega t divided by that is IT. It is IT. Now if you substitute JT in this IT equation, you will get that one as JT is equal to, that is EMF divided by IT total current. So this is what is called as a total impedance of the circuit. That is if you take the reciprocal of this ZT, now if you take the reciprocal of ZT, that is 1 divided by ZT is called as a admittance of a LC circuit. Parallel circuit. Okay. Now, so this is called as a admittance, that is nothing but a reciprocal of impedance. Now, we are going to define about the resonance in the particular this LC parallel circuit. The resonance is obtained when the current in the two branches is equal. Since the current is out of phase in both the branches, the total current will be 0. Now, if you consider this, that IC and IL, if these two currents are equal, or means these two currents are the currents in both branches, that is current capacitor and inductor. So resonance will be obtained if these two are equal. That is means if these two are equal means they are in out of phase. As we know that already, IC is in case of a capacitor, current is leading by 90 degree and IL is lagging by 90 degree. So if you look at this phasor diagram of this one, that is the total at a resonance. If this IC and is IC equal to IL, then it will be exactly out of phase. Then the total current will be equal to, as now from this resonance condition, as I told, resonance condition, that is IC is equal to IL. That means IC will be equal to IL, but it is in out of phase, that is equal to IL. This negative signs comes because of the pi phase difference between both IC and IL. Right? Now, if I substitute these two in IT, total current IT is equal to IC plus IL is there, right? So now if you substitute these two, it becomes IT is equal to 0. Means if you substitute this IT is equal to 0 at ZT, that is admittance, that is impedance of a LC series circuit, LC parallel circuit, then it becomes EMF divided by IT is 0. IT is 0 means this becomes Z is at infinity. Z is at infinity. Right? So as we have a ZT expression as ZT is equal to that is 1 divided by J of omega C minus 1 by omega L. Now if you substitute this ZT is equal to infinity, that becomes ZT is equal to infinity, then this omega C minus 1 by omega L is equal to 0. So this is what the resonance condition. At this, the frequency operating this LR, so that is nothing but LC parallel circuit, that is omega now becomes omega R, that is resonance frequency. This is resonance frequency. So now if you take this omega in terms of omega R C is equal to 1 by omega R into L. Then if you calculate omega R square is equal to 1 by LC. Now if you calculate this omega R, what exactly omega R becomes? Omega R is equal to 1 by square root of LC. Now if you take this one in terms of a resonance frequency, this is angular resonance angular frequency. This is angular frequency. Then at a resonance. Okay. Now at a resonance, that is resonance frequency is given by the resonance frequency or resonant frequency is equal to, that is FR is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi square root of LC. So this is what the resonance in case of a parallel LC circuit. At a R is very small. The condition is R is very small. So almost all it is similar to the resonance case of a LC R series circuit, right? Thus, at a frequency FR of a supply voltage, the current offers infinite impedance. Here, at this case, current is almost minimum. Current will be always almost minimum, where that impedance is almost infinity. That is a maximum case, right? Means that impedance is an infinite. That opposes the current flow, so that the no current is drawn from the supply in this resonant case. Such a circuit offering infinite impedance to the flow of a current is called as parallel resonant circuit. So that impedance is, if it is impedance is infinity, that current will be almost minimum. There is no current to flow in that particular circuit. That's why this circuit is called as parallel resonant circuit. And the particular frequency at which this resonance occurs, that is called as FR, that is resonant frequency. Right? Then even you can observe here the current through the parallel resonant circuit is 0 at resonance case. That parallel circuit current is, total circuit current is 0, and it works as a perfect choke for a particular AC. Means it completely reduces the current. Means circuit is rightly called as a rejector circuit because it at a particular FR current is minimum. Current is minimum. Other than this FR, if you look at other than FR, higher than this resonance frequency or lower than this resonance frequency, we are going to get there is a finite current. So if you look at this graph for the current versus frequency, here we get this is a current I and this is a frequency. We get the graph as like this. This is the graph. Here you can see the current at a particular frequency, it is almost minimum. This is a minimum current. Here this frequency is called as FR, resonance frequency. Right? This is the origin, and this is the current axis, and this is the frequency axis. Right? Even you can observe here that other than this resonance frequency, we are getting more current, and higher than this resonance frequency also we are getting more current. But a particular frequency at which that current is almost 0, is almost minimum. That's why we can call this one as that a resonance. It rejects the flow of the current in that circuit. It rejects the flow of the current in that circuit. That's why here these circuits, this parallel LC circuit is almost we use this circuit in case of rejector circuits. Even if you look at this resonance curve, this is almost opposite to the LCR series resonance, and there we call that particular circuit as an acceptor circuit. They were at a particular frequency the current was maximum. Here at a particular frequency current is minimum. That's why this circuit is called as a rejector circuit. So example for this circuit is almost radios we use as a filters. These circuits we use as a filters almost to filter out the particular frequency at which that desired frequency that we don't want to receive. So there in case of radios we use this parallel LC circuit as a filter that in radios we use. Right? So these are the main applications of this parallel LC circuit, and in this total chapter we have discussed and we came to know about what exactly AC circuits, and in that AC circuits we discussed about series LCR circuits. Then we discussed about what exactly the resonance condition, then the parameters linked with that particular resonance case, that is nothing but a quality factor, then bandwidth, and then voltage magnification where we put into it, right? Then we came to the particular LC parallel circuit. Then we have seen about what is exactly impedance of circuit, then what is the current in that, and resonance condition. Right? So these are the main topics of this particular LC series circuit, and thus this chapter is going to complete by this concept. The remaining part of this particular chapter, that is nothing but I will discuss about a phasor diagram for this particularly as a special lecture for this chapter, and in that only I am going to discuss some of the problems regarding this chapter. Okay, so this is the main unit we call as alternating current that is going to complete with the last lecture by using or by solving some problems. Okay, so take down some problems as a assignment or questions as assignment you need to submit in a Google Classroom. Okay, the first question is, derive an expression for derive expression for parallel circuit impedance. Total impedance you need to derive here. The second question is, a reason for, or I'll write this as a why the parallel LC circuit is called as rejector circuit. So by the help of the lecture I have seen now, and by using some other references to define this particularly, why we call this parallel AC circuit as a rejector circuit. So these are the two questions to submit on Google Classroom. So thank you.